SBN, Sports Business Now. SBN is a division of Row 27, the digital sports marketing company, celebrating 5 years of creating TV spots, intro videos, and microsites for over 150 teams. See our work at row27.com. And by FanMaker, digital marketing tools for sports teams, featuring FanMaker Rewards, the most comprehensive and popular fan loyalty and reward system. Learn more about our apps at fanmaker.com. SBN, Sports Business Now.
Hey everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of SBN Live. I'm Holly Koski, and SBN Live talks about all of the latest news in the sports business industry. And as always, we are joined by Jason Cole and Max Huber of Row 27. How are you guys today?
Doing great, Holly.
Good.
How about you?
I'm great.
Enjoying the first day of the tournament?
I am. No upsets so far, but let's see here. Currently, Marquette is down by 1 to Davidson, 19-18.
Yeah.
It's one of the most glorious days of the year.
It is glorious.
I'm excited for the college basketball tournament, so exciting. And for all of you hockey fans, the collegiate hockey tournaments start today as well. So thumbs up.
Did I see correctly that you not only printed out the NCAA brackets, but like the CBI and the CBI for women?
Yes, everyone needs to be utterly informed of every single tournament that takes place, and there are 7 of them.
That's a little intense. Did you make picks in the CBI women's bracket?
No, I sure
You just
didn't.
wanted to be informed.
Want to be informed. That's all.
Gotcha. Well, speaking of March Madness, today is a very heavily slanted March Madness show just because there is just so much going on, whether it be ad sales or marketing tactics, and we're going to cover it all here. So starting off, actually, Selection Sunday, St. Louis Billikens, they won the Atlantic 10 tournament, but because of traffic, they were going to miss the selection show. And obviously, since they won the tournament, they've had a really great year. It was a big deal to watch. And they actually went to a local Best Buy in Jersey. They were stuck in Jersey. And they watched it in the Magnolia room. Magnolia, obviously the Best Buy brand. But, they have couches and everything like that set up. And they had a pretty sweet setup. And I feel like this is free marketing for a big brand like Best Buy or, even a more local company where they could host the teams to watch Selection Sunday. What are your guys' thoughts on this?
I think it's kind of funny, to be honest with you, to be at a Best Buy in Jersey for this like once in a lifetime event is probably not how anyone saw it showing down. Then again, it came off extraordinarily well, and it definitely was some free press for Best Buy around the SLU brand. And I think they might have stumbled into, like you were saying, a new sponsorship point to where, if you are going to be hosting your team watch party, I mean, a lot of people do it in their gymnasium. They'll have a big crowd around it, that sort of thing. Why not put it out into the community with your team and go ahead and monetize that along with anything else that you're doing? A lot of the teams with that, like, one focal point of excitement, like they're making their first tournament in 5 years, whatever it might be, they could use an extra $20K, and there are a lot of businesses that would shell it out because of how many people would come to watch.
Right.
I think it's great. Like live entertainment, like sports, anything can happen, and this just proves that. I mean, this is a team that, they lost their head coach before the season. Rest in peace, Rick Majerus. He passed. But before that, he knew he wasn't going to come back. So this has been a team that they've had a lot on their shoulders, and they've been playing for a lot, and it's kind of fitting for them that, as well as they've played off court, things haven't really gone their way, but they got into the tournament, and I think it's great. Like Jason said, it probably could be a great opportunity, not just Best Buy, but there's so many other locations. Maybe it's Buffalo Wild Wings, maybe someplace else. Get the team together, bring them there, and it could be a fun way to interact with fans that's not in a typical gymnasium or university setting.
Right, and obviously, they had their PR personnel take a Twitter pic of that to let, fans know. So it kind of generates buzz for your team as well, as far as, kind of a unique aspect to watch the selection show, because there's just that something about, watching the show and see where you're seated. And yeah, so it's almost like you're watching teams watch where they get placed, which is kind of a unique phenomenon. So keeping along with March Madness and revenue, they are set to make a lot of it, especially CBS and the Turner Networks, TNT, TBS, and True TV. Last year, they generated over $1 billion in tournament ad sales revenue, and that was more ad dollars than the respective playoffs and championship series for the NFL, NBA, MLB, and NHL, which is pretty incredible if you think about it. And so this year, they're having all games online. Obviously, only the CBS games are for free. The other ones you have to authenticate if it's on TBS, TNT. But let's focus on the digital side of ad sales. Second screen experiences are growing in nature, and more people are watching on mobile devices. So digital sales, where are you guys seeing the revenue going to be this year?
It's kind of crazy. I was watching an old Row show from 2009. It was like our third one ever of Jonathan and I.
Retro.
And we were, doing our best. But I mean, we were talking about some of the new digital media inventory, and we were like in sub 10 billion at that point in time. And here CBS alone's, well over $60 million. So I mean, it's definitely something that's blossomed and grown up, and it has that acceleration factor to it right now, to where it's growing faster than anywhere else. And the home pages, the takeovers that are happening of brands right now are kind of unique, and I know you have a few things to highlight from that.
Yeah, definitely. I just kind of looked at the entire kind of ad buy-in for all of the major media sites. That includes, CBS Sports. Obviously, that's going to be your main one. ESPN, and then Yahoo. And specifically on CBS, Taco Bell was a major ad buy-in with their Cool Ranch tacos, which we had, last week in the office, I think. And, also other sponsors were AT&T, Infinity, Capital One, Coca-Cola, which are obviously, sponsors of the tournament itself. But then on ESPN, it was mainly Acura and Allstate, another car insurance combo, which seemed to be very common with their tournament challenge. And then Yahoo, Kia, again, with their tournament pick'em.
I mean, you just look at CBSSports.com right now, and it's like Bud Light everywhere. You're just looking at it, and the first thing you see, your eye's not drawn to the center of the page. You see Bud Light banner ads on both sides. You see Bud Light ads kind of everywhere. It's just, it's such a huge space for these organizations to put their brand and their message out there. And like you mentioned, if you're watching at second screen on your computer here, you can have a little pop-up. You can have a little ad here. It makes sense for these organizations to do that just because of the traffic that these websites get, especially at this time of year. People want to check the scores. Not every office has a TV in it, so people want to stay up to date as much as possible. And it's one of those secondary things. It might not be, you probably might look at a headline, but my attention really is drawn to all the Bud Light advertisement that's on there.
Right. So you think these are effective buy-ins for these types of companies?
Well, I think the cost increase for similar inventory that you've seen over the last 3 years really just speaks to the fact that we have an increasingly fragmented media where it's harder and harder to get in front of eyeballs. So tentpole events like the Super Bowl or like March Madness, like a live sporting event, inherently grow in value. And it's one of those few times where someone's going to be seeing what you put out there, and you have an increased audience.
Right.
And it's a great rollout platform. It's like the Olympics.
Right.
And the nice thing about it, sorry to interrupt, but it's not that it's not one day, it's not 1 week. It goes from now until April 8th. So there is a nice long window that these people actually get their message and their brand out in front of eyeballs.
Right, and today is the main day that people are excited about their brackets still, and are really into the tournament. So I think to capitalize on today, whether that be an ad buy-in on CBSSports.com or having a one-time kind of sponsorship, I feel like today would be the day to do it. So yeah, very interesting. See if that will be increased. That $1 billion mark will be increased. I'm sure it will be, just based on the number of outlets approaching us. So, and if, you're in a workplace that, let's say, bans March Madness, which I feel sorry for you, but there's an app for that in case you need your basketball fix. And Hotspot Shield is a free VPN for your computer, meaning it sets up a virtual private network between your machine and its like internet gateway, excuse me. For last year's tournament, they said that visits to NCAA.com and CBSSports.com through the site increased by over 700%. And then the first day, especially like what I was saying before, traffic to those sites surged by 2,000%. So kind of a cool thing.
This story reminds me of back when CBS began streaming games. They had this thing called the Comcast popper block up, and you hit the Comcast button. You had a spreadsheet block up from your boss.
Yeah,
Obviously,
CBS has that too.
And I can speak from experience because our VoIP network last year during the first couple of days was just absolutely dragging it because everyone in the office was streaming March Madness. Obviously, more employers have experienced that. More employers are blocking it. So it's a great thing for this VPN company to, number one, educate consumers about what a VPN is and what it does, because I don't think there's a depth of consumer knowledge about that until they run into an issue that requires one. And number two, to offer a free service for 7 days and then lock any user in the future. It's pretty crazy. 2,200%.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Through that site alone, like using a VPN.
Yeah.
People can find a way around it.
If people want to watch, they're going to watch. It's this just gives them that opportunity, not being techie and everything. It helps them, and it's great for this company. Like Jason said, it informs people. Personally, not knowing about VPN, reading this, I'm going to learn more, and it just helps overall. But the numbers on it are just absolutely insane.
Yeah, props to Mashable on that article. Very interesting this morning. Definitely got a lot of views and shares from what I could see. And then kind of moving on to our last point here with streaming and everything like that. Obviously, the tournament is owned by CBS in terms of streaming rights and everything like that. But ESPN has kind of come up with a clever way to at least get in on some of that viewership in terms of commentary is concerned. And it's pretty cool because Bill Simmons of Grantland is hosting basically a 5-hour, 6-hour, however long he wants to go, kind of live podcast where it's just straight commentary. Obviously, they can't show the games, but him, Jalen Rose, and a couple other of, as you can see right here, here's the live stream, couple of their Grantland writers are just really just shooting the crap of just talking NCAA basketball all day, which is pretty awesome to hear. And obviously you can see they're eating, they're checking their tweets, emails, and it's a pretty unique thing for ESPN to do.
Jay Rose is hanging out with a baseball bat, just to intimidate anyone.
Literally, he's been like that for 5 hours.
No, this is incredible. I think this is the type of content people want to see on a second screen or in between games. They want to see commentary. They want to feel connected to the people that they follow. And Grantland's authors really do have that audience that would tune into this type of thing. So I can't wait to see what the view numbers and the success rate is for ESPN. It's a really great chance for them to be stealing viewership or stealing eyeballs, as we've said so many times today, for free without even paying for the content.
They've already been broadcasting for 5 hours and 14 minutes now. At this moment, there are 6,735 people watching people talk about basketball. They're not even watching the game. They're not even, they can't see it. They're just watching these guys. And it's a testament
it's like your typical SB Now episode, right?
Right, exactly.
Basically.
It's a testament to Bill Simmons and kind of the following that he's gathered. People go to him. They go to Grantland. They read his articles on ESPN. They want to get information from him. And it's kind of it's almost like a boys' club that people are able to get inside of. They get to see these guys eating wings, just shooting the crap, watching basketball. And it gives them a different perspective And really, like Jason said, you pull that up along with watching the game at the same time, and it's a pretty neat experience.
I think the real key to it is it's humanizing and relatable. And if it's humanizing and relatable, it's going to have a success and a growing and attachment to your audience. And that right there is the inherent value. I mean, if it's 6,000 people live and then, after the fact, 60,000 people that watch it, that's still a very large audience for that type of broadcast.
Definitely. No, and I like the casualness of it, how it's just him and a couple of his buddies in literally his man cave with that atrocious couch and all of Bill Simmons, just Bill Simmons-ness on his walls. And them just eating, I think, is great. And it, like you said, it really humanizes it and makes it relatable, where it's like, okay, that's me and my boys, on March Madness weekend as well. So kind of cool to see that these guys do it as well.
Yeah, and they can give a completely different commentary than what you're going to get at the game. The game, they're going to do the play-by-play. These guys can really break down some of the other aspects of it. They can break down some of the advertising. Like we just had a couple games go final here. They can really speak on those. They can speak on the Wichita State beating Pittsburgh game and St. Louis taking down New Mexico State, talking about the Billikens once again. But it's that different perspective that they're going to bring to it that you're not going to get just from watching CBS True TV that I think is really cool.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Thanks.
It's that best damn sports show.
Yes.
Sort of mystique happening in the basement, which was always a lot of fun to watch.
Yes.
Rest in peace, best damn sports show. Rest in peace. Yes, thanks for the score updates,
You're
too.
welcome.
But we'll let you get back to watching some March Madness here. And thank you guys for offering some great insight, as always. And thank you for joining us today. You can find us all week on sportsbusinessnow.com or on Twitter at SBNow. We'll see you next time.
SBN, Sports Business Now.